What an interesting holiday week. Well, after a closed day for the market, Palantir today closes in the $27 range. A lot of folks probably have a similar thought in their minds. What is next for Palantir now? Well, going over the known and unknown catalysts briefly, the big one kind of farther out first is S&P inclusion. This seems to be a recurring theme every quarter with coverage until it finally happens when it does. Now, we know they are still eligible, so nothing really new to report on this until it actually is decided by the Standard & Poor's to make it happen. And still, no one knows exactly what will happen because institutions seem to be continuing to build their positions in anticipation of this event. Now, we don't know exactly what will happen price-wise when/if it does, but it's still a major achievement for the company, even if it's only for the reputational aspect. And side note too, it still cracks me up that it's a recurring question to management during every earnings, though it's just out of their hands at this point. Which actually transitions to the next known catalyst, earnings. This is happening in basically a month in August, which will cover Q2 2024's results, which are for the financials ending in June. And time really does fly considering we are more than halfway through the year of 2024, but honestly, it's probably the same things investors are looking out for the results. What is the growth rate? Are we getting more customers? What is management guiding for the growth rate? Well, surprisingly from last quarter, most of the growth was actually driven by current customers and not necessarily from the ones recently signed on. Now, we don't know exactly how fast it'll take for these new customers to ramp up their spending, and that's of course make a huge dent, but any little bit actually does help, especially if they can just increase the top number of funnel, inputting more customers, which we've already seen some action by the company with the most recent change of basically giving their software away for free at build.palantir.com. So this is the nearest catalyst I see right now that is known. But what is the big unknown catalyst? Well, when it comes to deals in partnership, they sometimes feel like they're out of nowhere. And even if it's a big government deal, we know delays are not a surprise at all. So it's really with this volatility around Palantir, deals in the past sometimes are duds and don't move the stock, with a lot of the future growth already priced in, which means that deals are expected to come in already. But you never really know exactly what will happen, nor can we predict when these deals are signed. What would be more interesting, though, would be a new major flagship commercial deal. Now, as mentioned, this is all speculation, but any long-term deals or big dollars or a combination of the two with a very reputable and well-known big company can draw a lot of excitement towards Palantir as a company. And yes, the pretext of this video was on price action, but really as a longer term holder, this is still noise to me. I'm always expecting volatility around a stock like Palantir that has so much reliance on its narrative, where the sentiment can have euphoric moments like we've seen this week, but I will never forget 2022 where the story really was that Palantir's losing growth, it will never come back, or at least be super hard to return, and the stock price reflected that. But AIP seems to have turned this around, as well as Palantir's management increasing its performance and upticking of revenue growth, but that's so far from the 30% promised a while back. But what are your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.